All right, there we go. It's working now, but it's not. It's messing with me. All right, y'all. It is that time. It's officially interview time. This is our very first interview here on the channel. Interviewing a band. This is a talented, young, upcoming band. Being Human are based out of New York. We're going to be getting to know these guys. We're going to find out a little bit about them, and we're going to have some fun. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can submit the question in the chat, and we'll try to most definitely get to everyone's questions that you have. But right now, we're going to get connected with them. Oh, I see what's going on here.
Do ya?
There we go. I think we got it now. Now if I turn it on. There we go. Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
How are you?
We're doing great. It's good to have you guys, everybody. This is the band that I've been talking about. This is the debut of this young, upcoming, talented artist that they're grinding, and they're doing it on their own. They're doing it their way, and we're about to get to know a little bit about you fellas today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Tanner. I sing and play synths in the band.
I'm Jordan. I'm the screamer in the band. Try to liven it up.
I'm Anthony. I play bass mainly.
Yeah, and our guitar player and drummer aren't here.
Alrighty. So everybody doing good today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we're doing great.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about your debut EP, After Everything Else Burns.
All right. You guys want me to go? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, well, I guess it started mostly as a passion project. It was just something that kind of happened, and I started recording one day, and it turned into these 5 songs. Like we didn't intend for this release at all. Like it just kind of came about, and we just kept working on it until it was done. We had 2 guitar players before, and then the whole COVID thing happened. We couldn't get together, so I was on my own, and I just started writing on my own, and kind of turned into this.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. How about we start with a little bit of how did you guys meet?
You guys want to go?
I mean, me and Tanner met really young, but we're like related through marriage, so we kind of met with like family and everything. But I mean, it was a slow start, and we finally I think really got to become like close friends when we were like 13, 14. That's when I started heavy metal music because my uncle and my older brother showed me heavy metal and got me really into it, and I fell right in love. It was like a passion instantly.
Right on.
So, I was really good friends with Jordan's little brother, Hunter. And I guess I never really knew Jordan too much, but I'd always heard about him and seen him around. And then I met Tanner in my art class in my sophomore year of high school. I think you were a senior at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess you could call us friends. I don't know. We were kind of associates.
Acquaintances.
The talked here and there. Nothing really ever came of it. And then one day, like 2 or 3 years later, randomly, he's like, "Hey, you play bass, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to come jam? Maybe see if you are interested in joining the band." I was like, "Sure."
Yeah. Well, you were taking guitar lessons from my dad, I think,
Oh yeah.
and he just showed up one day, and we were all outside jamming with our old band members. Some of them aren't in the band anymore, but he came out and just sat and watched us play for like an hour, and then he went home, and then I was probably 3 or 4 months later, I messaged you and be like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
want to play this?"
Yeah, it was a while later.
Yeah, and this project started back in like 2017. We were just jamming and doing some covers, basically, and it was me and a friend of Jordan's brother, and another friend of his at first, and then I asked Jordan to play with us, and he
Oh, wonderful.
Where did
He froze.
Cut him off. I stepped in afterwards because he asked me to. We did a lot of garage band stuff just to have fun, and well, my brother was
ended up joining.
moving away and stuff, and my other friend works like a long hour job. We
He's
kind of left,
back.
3 of us.
I'm back.
Yeah, I was telling them after my brother and my brother's friend left because they had stuff going on. We were left with me, you, and the drummer.
Yeah. So we had just a drummer and no guitar players for a long time. We went through a couple different people, and then we ended up finding a guitar player. Then we found another guitar player, and we could never find a bass player. So we ended up landing on Anthony.
Well, right on.
He was kind of our last resort. Just kidding.
Okay.
All right. How about you tell us a little bit about how you guys went about the recording process for this EP? You know, I want people to understand a little bit about, you know, how you guys put this together.
Okay. So it started like a little over a year ago. And like I said, I was just making music. I was just writing on my own. And I ended up writing like one song. And then I think we wrote lyrics to it. And then we wrote another one. And then we just kept writing until we got to 5. I think we decided after like song 2 that we were going to turn it into an EP.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so basically what we did was we scratched everything out. We didn't do any scratch vocals actually. We did the real vocals the first time through and never did them again. So yeah, Anthony came up when he could and did his parts, and Jordan did his parts, and it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then my dad mastered it, and he made the drums for us because we didn't have a drummer.
And like with COVID going on, I mean, we got to give it. Tanner did like, 85, 90% of the work, and it's hard for us to get up there and help him. But of course, we did like FaceTimes and stuff to help him out, and I'd come over whenever I could and help him mix his parts. But I mean, with COVID, it was hard, and Tanner had to do most of the work, and we give him props. It's not like because of him. This is the album. It's all him.
Yeah. And in us doing this album, it was also kind of like a learning experience for all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
So Tanner, he essentially learned how to mix and like record music, that whole process. Also,
Yeah. Like I had never done this before this project. It was
right. And Tanner hasn't really been playing guitar all that long, and he wrote 99% of the guitar on the album. And for me, I've been playing like guitar for like 2 years, like here and there. But then once I found bass, I really like clicked with it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just I'm more of a rhythm player anyways. So and this is my first time like actually writing anything. So it was a learning experience for all of us.
Yeah, and none of us have ever really recorded anything. Like Jordan never screamed on a record or anything. Like he's never even done it like live. Really, we never even played a show. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was definitely a lot of learning. I think that's why it took so long. It was just like a year's worth of learning.
Yeah.
Maybe like 9 months worth of learning, 3 months worth of recording.
Yeah.
Well, how about we get to the first song off of your debut EP, After Everything Else Burns? How about you guys pick the first song that we listened to?
I think it was just the intro. The intro was super sweet, and we were like, man, that sounds like an intro. And that was the third song I wrote. I wrote that. So the order that it was written, it was Moving On first was the first song that was written. And then I think it was A Twisted Story. I just wrote the instrumentals for all these. And then I wrote Another Life. So Another Life was third. And I think I just wanted to keep the vibe from because originally it was supposed to be the second song. It was supposed to come in after Moving On because Moving On has that piano part that's like going through it. So I kind of followed that with the guitar, but it ended up being the first because it was just super atmospheric and it just kind of felt like an opening. That was probably the most fun song to record. Jordan and Anthony were both in the studio that day, and it took like 4 hours to get Jordan's parts right.
Now, would that be part of the video that I seen that you guys had posted?
Yeah.
There's some of it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That part where he's screaming, he's like, "I don't know what's going on anymore." That's from that song.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I've never screamed in a session that long. I've only done it a few times in a song, like hanging out with my buddies. But like, when you're in the studio and you're screaming all those parts, you realize you're like, "Holy crap, this is."
Yeah, like redoing everything. I think Jordan left like 4 or 5 days because he came up like 4 or 5 times to record, and every time he left, he had like a massive migraine.
Yeah.
It's like I can't breathe.
You might want to invest in some Excedrin migraine. It'll knock it right out. All right, so we're going to start out with the very first one, which is Moving On, correct?
That was the first song that was written. Yeah, it's the third song of the EP.
All right, here we go, everybody. This is off the debut EP of Being Human After Everything Else Burns. This is Moving On. We got some bad storms rolling through here. I think it's messing with my connection a little bit.
You guys see him?
Yeah, we got bad storms. It's lightning and thundering like crazy here right now. All right. That was Moving On by Being Human. That is off of their debut EP, After Everything Else Burns. We have the guys right here. If any of you have a question you would like to ask of them, feel free to submit it in the chat. We'll definitely get to it. Gonna do a little fun facts here. Little fun facts. Tanner.
Fun facts.
Hold on.
About that.
I got a question for you.
Oh, okay.
When was the last time you went bass fishing?
2 years ago. No, it was this summer actually. I went for a day with my dad.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything. But
And how big of an influence was your father? Because from my understanding, your father has a small home studio.
Yeah.
And I guess I seen a picture of you standing out underneath one of those little pop-ups, I guess outside of the shop, and he was playing a guitar, had a PV amp and everything behind him.
that must have been when I was like 11. Yeah, I was young. My dad's been a huge influence, I think, on all of us musically, and he's been there through all of this. He gave us pointers, and he's been doing this a lot longer than we have. He's been making music since he was like 12. He's been playing guitar, and he was just massive inspiration for all of us. And
Yep.
it really wouldn't have been possible without him, because like I wouldn't have had any idea what I was doing at all. And writing parts, he helped us too, like especially the drums. I've never played drums in my life, so he used to play drums, so he was definitely, he helped us like figure out some phrasing, like for Jordan.
Mhm.
And like I said, he mastered the whole thing. So yeah, he was a massive part of this.
Well, that's definitely.
I think he's watching right now too.
Well, big shout out to him. That is definitely a good father, to back you in this, adventure. And
Yeah, he's definitely the best.
And that's cool that he's influenced not just yourself, but the other members.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that if he's inspired them, he's probably inspired others as well. And
Definitely.
that is like that's just awesome. Period.
definitely.
We got somebody. Metal Goddess has a question. They would like to know, what are some of your favorite bands that heavily influenced your music writing style?
Okay, so definitely Paramore. I feel like that's pretty apparent, especially in the melodies.
Icy Stars.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dance Gavin Dance for sure.
Yeah, they're not really metal, but lot of bands. Like we all listen to a lot of different music. So
For me, I listen to a lot of Metallica, and I've learned a lot of Cliff Burton bass lines. He's a really good bassist because he brings a lot of melody into it as well, and it's super creative. he's inspired a lot by Baroque music style, like the old classical music, and I find myself listening to that too. I've just always been kind of interested in that style of writing, but for this application, I kind of had to do more of like a metal style, but we'll see if I can work it in and find my own style as I grow as a player.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
and that's another thing that's interesting. It's like I said, 90% of this record was just me writing, so we haven't really collaborated and figured out our sound as a band yet. This is kind of just like a test for us.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited to see what you guys have in store for the future. I mean, if this is just the beginning, I mean, we played every song off of your EP several times during broadcast of Morning Metal, and we've always gotten a good response from people that hear it. You know, I plug you guys. I let them know where they can find your music at, where they can get a hold of you on social media to follow you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm a huge supporter of independent artists. You know, whether you plan to stay independent or you want to work your way to, you know, signing with a label, you know, I support music, period, because music is inspiring, and I think people can relate to your music. And, you know, if it's just the beginning, I'm ready to see what the future holds. But I know we got to wait.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. What else we got here? Okay, I take it that's your dad? 80K Studio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see the chat or hear the songs when you play them, but yeah.
You said you mixed the album.
Yes.
And
I mixed it, he mastered it.
well, you guys did an awesome job. I mean,
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of bands, they won't make an EP or anything unless they can go to a studio where they got somebody that's mastering everything, getting them sounding so crisp, or, you know, however they go about, you know, mastering and setting up all of it.
Yeah.
And mixing it's definitely not easy, so I give you props.
Thank you. It was definitely a learning process.
The only way I've ever been able to do any mixing is with a flash drive. Somebody hand me a flash drive, I plug it in, the board does its own thing. Analog boards, no, not me. So that's definitely awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dad said he made you do it.
Yeah, he did. He was, because at first we were gonna go with him and just let him do the record, like mix it and all that, and have record it through him. But we decided to do it. Well, he made me do it ourselves. He was like, "Yeah, I want you to learn how to do it because I'm not always going to be around," kind of thing. So.
Well, we got another question for you.
Okay.
It's from Snappy. She says, "This is an amazing start to your journey. Where do you guys see yourself at your next album release? What do you hope to achieve in terms of the band and collaboration between yourselves?"
I think we just want to make the best music we can, and we don't really have any goals aside from, like, we just want to play some shows and hope people show up and maybe buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, I definitely think we're more about inspiring people or getting them to feel maybe a certain emotion from our music and connecting with it. So I know for me, I didn't write the lyrics to this album, so I can listen a little, but I can listen to the lyrics like all day and they just hit me a certain way. And I don't know if it's like that for everybody who listens to it, but whenever I listen to this EP, there's just that one person you think of, and I don't know. I just feel like we could do that with so much more
than just heartbreak.
Yeah, than just heartbreak. You know, like maybe stuff along the lines of like mental health, struggles in life, stuff like that. Just try and inspire people to do better or be better.
Yeah, that was a lot better answer than I gave. Good for you. What about you, Jordan?
Now, you said that song number 2 was actually A Twisted Story, which is listed third on the EP.
Yes, that was the second song I wrote.
Okay. Would you like to, what inspired this song? I mean, share what you feel like
funnily
sharing.
enough,
No pressure.
I was like lyrically or musically, because it's totally different things.
A little bit of both.
So musically, I was listening to a lot of Polaris at the time, and they're "The Death of Me," that record. I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's a song on it, "Masochist," and that was the song that kind of inspired me to make this song because it stops a lot. There's a lot of stops in this song, and I liked the way that it flowed. But yeah, lyrically, songs. It's that feeling, that initial feeling after a breakup, like, okay, yeah, everybody's telling me like you're gonna be fine, you're gonna move on, kind of thing, and you feel like you're never going to love anybody the way that you love that person, basically, and it's just this push and pull thing, like you want them to stay, but they don't want to, kind of thing, and you're like, that's yeah, it was kind of like that, and I think lyrically it was the hardest song to write. Maybe besides Borrowed Light, that one was pretty difficult too.
Hold on, I'm going to stop my camera for a second because it keeps looping over. All right, let it pause for a second and then fire back up. Yeah, it kept doing the flash, and that was like annoying. And like, as far as how did you go about, composing the music itself? Like, are you like, well, your dad obviously taught you how to play guitar, correct?
When I was younger, yeah, he taught me some things, but I never really got into it. Like I never practiced or anything. I played acoustic and I played a couple chords. That was basically it. So it was just kind of me winging it. This whole record was just winging it.
Well, right on, right on. Well, you guys did a hell of a job, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to play A Twisted Story. And if anybody has any more questions, please submit them in there, and I will be sure to get to your questions. But here we go. A Twisted Story by Being Human. right, that's a twisted story by Being Human. And I got to ask, how does it make you feel to hear yourselves?
It's cool. It's a little weird at first, like putting this out there, and then like realizing like people can just listen to me whenever they want now.
Yeah, I had a lot of people come to me and be like, "Is that you singing, or are you playing an instrument?" I'm like, "No, I'm screaming." They're like, "I don't think so." Like, you see it in life, so I don't believe you. I'm like,
Yeah, it's weird. This is actually, I figured I should shout him out. This is the one song on the record that Brandon, our guitar player, actually played on because the guitars needed to be redone, and he had just rejoined the band, and it was like just kind of spur of the moment, like, "You want to redo these?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So I ended up writing them, and he changed them a little bit and made them his own. So that was cool. That was the first time having somebody else play guitar on this record.
All right. How does it make you feel, Anthony, hearing yourself?
It's weird. It's really, really weird, actually. But I just like my thing is with bass is like 90% of people don't really ever hear it. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that whatsoever, because I know that without it, it would sound completely hollow. But I do like how there's certain parts in the music where the bass stands out more times than others, and those are some of my favorite parts because I really get to hear myself play, obviously. But but no, it's a really weird experience. Like it still hasn't really settled in with me. I think at this point, still just kind of like crazy to me.
Definitely.
All right, Jordan.
Yep.
We got a little. We're gonna dig a little deeper here. I understand you like riding, four-wheelers.
Yeah.
Now, what is the story behind your very first four-wheeler?
Oh, I had a yellow 400X. My dad actually, we went out like 2 hours away, and he bought it for me. And my dad's I would say a pretty good mechanic. So he showed me, and we fixed it up because it was bad shape, but it was rusted up and a lot of parts were broken. So we fixed it up, and then his buddy had a powder coating station. We fixed it all up, made it look nice. And my dad, he's always been like, very helpful with all that stuff. So he actually took a picture of me and actually posted it in like one of those magazines, and I got put on there, which
Wheeler
is pretty
magazine.
cool. Yeah, I think it was like Dirt Road Mag or something like that. I don't know what it was called. It's been so long. I was like,
Yeah, and
Yeah, this guy did his research.
hey, I tried
Scared now.
to find what I could find. It lets people get to know a little bit more about you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like you with your connection with your father and the music and all that. I mean, that's awesome. In my family, we don't have musicians like that. We have people that they love music.
Right.
And it's like, I never really put in the work to learning percussion. I learned to play by ear, and I went by that. And I played in jazz band in high school, and I was second seat. But when Roland had graduated, then band teacher comes in and he hands us a whole new lineup, and tells me to go into the sound room and rehearse it. He'll be in about 10-15 minutes. Hear what I got. And he come in. I had to admit to him I can't read sheet music. And
Yeah.
he was upset with me. I never took the time to really master anything when I can play a little bit of guitar rhythm, tune it to D, one finger and some riffs. What am I playing? I have no idea. So I find that awesome that your father he's passed on the the passion for music itself.
Yeah.
And and like with Jordan and his father, they share that with the four-wheeling. Because I seen a picture where it looked like there was a whole shitload of four-wheelers all loaded up on trailers, like you guys are getting ready to go out and have some fun.
Yeah, we went to the Silver Lake Sand Dunes in Michigan. It was fun. Big man.
Yeah, four-wheeling is fun. It's definitely fun.
Yep.
I guess we're going to get on to another song here. This would be what would actually be the third song that you had wrote, correct? Another Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any story behind Another Life that you'd like to share?
Well, it's not really about the song itself. It's more about almost to the end of the project. Like everything was done. It was all recorded. Anthony was there for this. He was on FaceTime. And so we were about to port it over for mastering, and I ended up moving everything and deleting some stuff. And what ended up happening was everything, I went back into the project to mix it down to be sent to mastering, right? Everything was gone. I was like, all the tracks were there and they were all empty. So all the audio was gone. And I was like, all of this work is gone. Like 3 months worth of work just for these couple of songs. It was completely gone. So I ended up taking like an hour to find it, and it was just put somewhere else. And so that was scary. This song almost wasn't on the record. I thought it got deleted. Would have really sucked because it's definitely my top 3. I think it might be my favorite.
Yeah.
If not second favorite.
All right. Well, here we go. This is Another Life by Being Human off of their debut EP, After Everything Else Burns. There you go. A twisted story by Being Human off their debut EP, After Everything Else Burns. We got the guys in here, chilling, all cheesy faced. All right.
That was
what's that?
Another Life.
Oh yeah, that was Another Life, not a twisted story. Anthony, what got you into playing instruments itself? I think you started out with probably an acoustic?
Actually, no. So, actually, I played trombone. I can't remember what grade it was. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade, but I played trombone for 1 or 2 years. And then I know in 6th grade, we had like a required guitar class that everybody in our school had to take. And I felt like I was pretty decent. And then I didn't touch a guitar for like another 2 to 3 years after that. And my cousin, he had an old Epiphone Les Paul, like the junior model, like, you know, basic starter guitar. And he had this old amp. And I remember one of the first songs I learned how to play was obviously like Smoke on the Water and stuff, but I learned how to play Careless Whisper. I remember that was one of the first things I actually learned how to play. But the reason I started playing guitar, I guess, was because I never really was into metal until about 16 years old, I'd say. I guess I would listen to it on the radio, like Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace, stuff like that, Papa Roach, like, because that's what my dad would listen to in the shop. So it was always on, but I would never, like, go out of my way to listen to, like, anything really heavy, until I started listening to Master of Puppets, that album by Metallica. That really got me into heavier music, and then shortly after that, I saw Slayer and Lamb of God live, and that's when it just kind of flipped, and from then on, I delved into everything, like death metal, black metal, like anything and everything metal, I was just into at that point.
Well, right on. And how do you feel that, the college life is helping you along on your journey here? Is it keeping you grounded, or?
Yeah, I would say in a sense it's keeping me grounded, but it's also, I guess it's kind of a marketing opportunity because there are a lot of students that go to the school, and I showed it to a few people, and then just like they would go around and show everybody. So there'll be times that I'm just like walking around campus and I hear it coming from somebody's dorm room, and I'm like, okay, that's funny.
It's got to feel cool though.
It does. It's surreal. It's odd. But another thing is like coming to college really helped me blossom as a person as well. I joined a fraternity, and thankfully it was a really good fraternity. Like, normally when you hear about them, you think, oh, they just party and don't care about anything. But we do a lot of community service, and we're about the family aspect. And joining this fraternity has really helped me find, I guess, a home away from home and make me feel more comfortable at college. It's really helped me come out of my shell. I used to be very, very reserved and like quiet, and I wouldn't talk much. I had no social skills whatsoever, and I'm still struggling with that. But college is definitely something that's helping out with that, and I feel like that's prepping me for shows and stuff down the road. Because I've had public speaking opportunities and stuff along the lines of that. So,
yeah, I would say that you've already came out your shell. I mean, you reached out here during one of our morning metal programs and asked if we would review it and let you know what we thought. And, like I told you guys last night when we were, doing the test run on this, I'll keep it 100. If I feel like, it's not something you should pursue, because I wouldn't want somebody to pursue something that, it's not for them, and it's not for everybody. Like myself, I gave it up because I knew it wasn't going to be for me. And I worked doing sound and lighting, off and on, and that kept me to where I still got to be a part of the music industry without, throwing everything aside, family, and all that stuff, and pursuing something that ultimately the odds were stacked way against me. And that's something I give you guys props for, is you guys are going after it, but you're still grounded in the aspect. I know that you guys got responsibilities that you're taking care of, but you're still looking to pursue your dream. And I think you guys are going to make it, most definitely. That's my personal opinion, and I will keep it 100. We've got other people that they've tuned in, they've heard you guys, they like your music, you're on their playlist, and yeah, I've not heard anything negative. I even let one of my best friends, and he could have made it, but it was just a matter of band members flaking out at the last moment, because the tour life, it's not for everybody. And that's where they finally was like, no, I'm not going to leave my family, which I can respect that.
Definitely.
But that's something that he always kept in mind. He's always worked in sound and lighting up until the virus stuff came out. That kind of messed up all concerts and everything, and it made it really hard for smaller bands that are independents, that are grinding it out, playing bars. They live for that, and it wasn't there. And the fact that you guys took advantage of that time to go ahead and still work together, even though it was rough to get together, and you put together this EP, that's amazing. I give you guys.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise, almost. Like, it gave us the time to pursue it, and the option. Like, we don't have to worry about playing shows, because we're not playing shows anytime soon. So it's kind of like, okay, let's do this.
Yep.
And a lot of bands, I think, took advantage of that. Like, a lot of bands, especially in metal, they released a lot of music lately.
Yeah. Lamb of God, it was like I was constantly seeing something new posted by them guys.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And speaking of like live shows, how do you guys see yourself starting out? Like, maybe your first gig. Where do you see yourselves, and possibly when would you see yourselves doing that?
I think we're gonna suck. For our first gig, I don't know. Honestly, it's just whoever will let us play.
Yeah. Take
And
every.
it's, I don't know. It's something we haven't really thought about a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because we just don't have the option to do it right now, and we're saving money for gear. We need a lot of gear to do it anyway. And we didn't have a drummer until like 2 days ago, so it was really not on the table.
Yeah.
Unless we had like just drums playing as backing track, which I feel like would be really boring.
Yeah, people would they would miss the drummer. It would seem
definitely, especially in metal music. It's like all drums.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that I notice on the mix is it's like you can hear everybody really crisp and clear, and that's like what you don't see a lot of that. Like Anthony had made mention about most times you don't really hear the bass too much. It's there. You would notice if it wasn't there, but it's like it being there, you don't really notice it unless it's bands to where the bass player really stands out. And then you got some bands, which there's not a lot of them, but there are some bands that they share everything equally. You hear the drummer, the bass player, the rhythm, the lead, you hear the vocals, everything's crisp and clear. And that's something that I've noticed when I listen to you guys. I can hear the bass real well, and I hear the drums real well, and I hear both vocals real well. And even your transitions, I even like those.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, especially when it's when it drops and it's just like that, where you just want to get it. I like that, and
thank you.
I don't think you guys will suck your first show. You guys are probably going to be nervous as hell.
Oh yeah, I think that's why we're gonna suck. That's what I'm saying.
And hey, you could
You're-
always throw together,
Just have somebody else sing for me.
restrictions. If restrictions don't interfere, you guys could always throw together like barbecue party, and you guys play at that. You could charge, and you guys could basically perform at your own event that you're putting on. So it'd mostly be a lot of friends and family, and yeah, you guys.
Jordan's got a lot of people that really love this record, like his friends especially.
Yeah, I got a lot of metalhead friends, and they love it. And the support we get is just immense. We get a lot of hometown people that just love our music. It's crazy to see because there's a lot of country music listeners out there. And
yeah.
It's funny because like where we're from, nobody really listens to this kind of music, and yet the support just from the community even has been insane.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard anybody say anything negative really, only like one or two things.
Mhm.
And that was very rare. But the amount of people that have just like even messaged all of us and been like, we love it. Like it's been insane. Anthony, you said like when we first released it, you had people messaging you for like 2 weeks. Like every day.
Oh my god. When we first released this record, my phone would not stop blowing up. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Something Tanner mentioned the other day though is it's kind of funny how like our fans have higher expectations of us than we do of ourselves. Like we're not really expecting much, but like I saw a couple of my friends the other day and they're like, look at you guys heard this guy's music? They're the next Nirvana. And I'm like, I don't know about that, buddy.
Hey, you never know. And to the people who had anything negative to say, I would just say that those are the people that they're hating because it's not them doing it.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, to do what you guys are doing and putting yourselves out there like that, not everybody can do that. There's a lot of people that, they may be talented at playing guitars, drums, but as far as like putting themselves out there the way you are, it's not for them. They can't do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that was a big thing for all of us. We all kind of sat there as like the night that we uploaded, we were like this is out in the world like forever.
It's out
What
there
was that,
now.
Jordan? I didn't hear what you said.
I said,
So we're all
what's that?
What?
You broke up again.
on me.
Yeah.
Oh, I said we were like FaceTiming, freaking out,
Oh yeah.
screaming. I know I would.
It was scary, and I think that initial like release was really scary because we didn't know how people were going to feel about it, especially where we are. It was just we didn't know if people were just going to be like, "Oh, this is shitty. Look, we don't like this at all."
Yeah.
But it's been overwhelmingly positive, which is crazy because like I think I said this last night. I was like, a couple weeks ago we were just like normal dudes, and now we're in a band. It's weird. We've actually done something.
Yep. And a lot of people, even some that are really talented, they don't have the balls, so to speak, to do their own music. They remain cover bands. And the fact you guys, you didn't do like some people do to where they do like remakes of cover songs.
Yeah.
And make it their own. And I mean, you guys, you put your own heart and soul out there, and that takes balls. Just to put it bluntly, that takes balls. Next song is going to be Borrowed Light.
Yes.
And any story with Borrowed Light here? Because this one here is personally my favorite. Borrowed Light and Another Life, and then Moving On.
It's funny. I wrote Moving On and A Twisted Story. They took like 6 months to write. And then I ended up writing Another Life in 2 days. I demoed it anyways. Like I demoed it in 2 days. I demoed Borrowed Light in a day and a half. And then I think the last song, After Everything Else Burns, I only had a title. I had the title of the song and like an idea for a lyric. And that's it. We named the EP before we even had the song written, which was not very smart on our part. But yeah, all the last 3 songs I wrote in a span of 3 weeks on weekends. So, and then Jordan, I was like, listen, I'm not singing anymore.
Yeah. Song, I was like,
Why
you
didn't
were
you want to
worried.
sing anymore?
Yeah, Tanner's like, I won't sing, but I'll do like a long ass scream for like 20 seconds on it.
Yeah, I did the high screams. Those high screams that you hear, those were me.
We actually all did vocals on that
we
song,
did.
actually.
All 3 of us did the background vocals.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Right
fun.
on.
I think that was the most fun I had in the studio, was doing that.
It was really fun.
That's cool. You guys should definitely, throw together some footage of you guys when you get the opportunity to get together and,
Yeah, definitely.
play.
We got a lot of things we talked about doing, like just playthroughs and music videos, even, low budget, cheap, terrible music videos.
All right, well, here we go with another song. This is the 4th song on the EP. After Everything Else Burns, this is Borrowed Light. My personal favorite, by the way. Salty, welcome in. Hell yeah. That is my personal favorite right there. Hey, we can't.
Tanner, your mic's on mute.
Oh, yeah, this is a disaster. I think that's the one I listen to the most on my own because like I'm not on it and I feel kind of weird just listening to myself sing driving around. But yeah, I listen to that one a lot and it's fun. I'm gonna let Jordan talk about this one more because
vocally, this song was a real struggle. I mean, I do most of the screams in this, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little out of shape, so like screaming stuff, like it takes a lot out of you. Like there's a lot of like cutting up and stopping and breaking because I'm like, oh, this is so much. I had to have a couple pep talks to get myself going because when you get halfway through the like recording, you just feel like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. I'm not. How am I gonna do this live? I'm like, this is gonna be terrible. So, but they pep talked me up, and them helping screaming the song, doing backs and stuff, and when we like spread out the studio and we're just running around, got the mic set up in the background, we're backing up to make it the music different, all the vocals different sounds, and it was a fun experience doing the song because yeah, I mean we all made a big contribution to the song, and like I mean like I don't know the time it took to really make the song. It was really fun and definitely like my favorite song to record.
Yeah, for parts of this song, we kind of made like a little 3-piece death metal choir.
Yeah,
we did.
So we're switching around in different spots, moving the mic around, trying different screams. It was pretty fun.
There's like a back room in the studio, and we're like, one of us is way back there just yelling down the hall.
Yeah, and like the other room.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it is definitely my favorite. Like
It's
lyrically,
it's
like who wrote the lyrics for that song?
I wrote most of them. The guys helped me when we got in the studio. It was like, okay, we don't need that, and they helped me. They got rid of some stuff because I had a lot more originally, and I was just like, I don't know. They helped, so it was all of us really. It was like, okay, I don't think we should say that there. And
Yeah.
the song, I feel like it's the deepest song on the record, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even really describe it. It would take me like 10 minutes to explain the meaning of the song, I guess.
Well, the floor is yours.
I can say
if you want to share, that is. I know that some songs for people, they have a deep and extremely personal, meaning and relation to them, and it's their way of expressing it versus just holding it in.
Right.
And
definitely,
a lot of people don't know the true meaning. You can guess of what it is by the lyrics, but you may not be, spot on. You may not understand how personal it really is.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony, you were going to say something?
Oh yeah, so I guess I can say like my personal application of the lyrics because, like you were saying, everybody can have their own perspective on how the lyrics affect them and what application they bring it to. So for me, it kind of reminds me of I've been in relationships before where it doesn't really feel like it's a relationship. It feels like maybe sort of a codependency. Like you're really dependent on one another, and the fact that like there have been times where I've been unhappy in my life and I found somebody that makes me incredibly happy, and you just want nothing but that person. And once they're gone, you lose your light, so to speak. And in kind of coming to realize that, you realize that a lot of your happiness at that time was coming from them. And stepping back and moving on a little bit from that, you realize that you really need to have that light within yourself
and find it in other places. Yeah,
before you can find it in other places, essentially.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking when I wrote it. You just explained it a little better than I would have. It was yeah, like you said, just that feeling when you get out of a relationship like that. It's inherently bad for you, even though you didn't want to admit that. Like as much as you might miss that person, it's still you realize like, okay, I think I was causing myself a lot of pain in that situation, and it's not even necessarily the other person's fault. It's just the way that you became codependent on them. And that was the big thing. It was like, okay, especially for me. I mean, this whole record was extremely healing for me because I went through really bad breakup. It wasn't even really a bad breakup. It was just bad for me emotionally, and it was just something that I had attached myself to for way too long, and it really helped me move on. That's really the point of this whole record, was to help me move forward with my life
Right.
and say the things that I never really got to say.
Yeah. And for me, like I've said before, like listening to the lyrics of this album, it puts a lot of my feelings into words and helps me understand things in a different way that I've never been able to understand before. And it's kind of like a pivotal moment in my life because not only am I a part of this band, but in listening to it, it helped me look at myself and realize some of the things that needed to be fixed in order to move forward.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
The songs, I mean, I was going through. I mean, I was past my bad breakup that I had, so harder to relate in the sense that I wasn't there emotionally anymore because now I got a fiance and a kid now, and I've kind of found my place now. But like a year or two before that, I was in a rough patch, and
Yeah.
Tanner was so writing some of the lyrics. There was meaning to my past relationship, and I was really up by it. It was
Yeah, they say music is healing, and in this case, it genuinely was. Like, I don't even know if I wouldn't. I mean, if I would have moved on if I hadn't done this.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to say, but a lot of the best music comes from personal heartache and struggles.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes the darkest moments in someone's life can be, you know, the best music that they will ever produce.
Yeah.
And
that's with art in general too.
And a lot of times, you know, people don't recognize it. It's almost a cry for help, or, you know, to let people know, you know, what you see isn't really what I'm feeling.
mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And I think, and also kind of on that same topic, I think there are definitely some people out there that have listened to this record and feel that connection, and maybe that's why they so like it so much. Because I've had plenty of people message me and be like, "Dude, like this record really like helped put some things into words that I've never been able to put into words before."
That's genuinely like the most amazing compliment I think anybody can give me.
Absolutely.
Like, not the music, anything, but just the way that it helps them. Like, because the way it helped me, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that would be an awesome feeling, and, you know, that right there should be enough to let you guys know that what you're doing, you know, you guys can make it.
Thank you.
And when people can relate to you like that, I mean, it's not like they're seeing you live in concert where you're trying to get the audience to relate to you. They're already connected to you through, you know, the meaning and the story behind the song. And, you know, when you guys do perform live, you guys will probably be shocked when you start seeing people that's singing your songs along with you guys.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen, fellas. It's going to happen.
I'll tell you what, though. We need to play a show in Australia. Because every person I have showed our music to from Australia has absolutely loved it. They absolutely love it.
Too.
Australia and Germany are big for metal. They are big for metal. It's like, if only over here we could have festivals like they have overseas, like in Germany and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, where you got like,
I mean, I wish we were
200,000
like
people piled in one field, and you got like probably 12 to 13 big monster pits going.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we was like 10 years ago, honestly, because I think Warped Tour, being able to play Warped Tour would have been the coolest thing ever. But that's never going to happen, I guess.
Maybe we can get on Knotfest. We'll see.
Yeah. Keep dreaming.
Hey, everything starts with a dream. if you're not dreaming, you're not living.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I definitely dream. I'm like, man, it would be so cool if it did happen. But like at the same time, I don't want to get my heart broken. It just, like get all my hopes up. Like, okay, we're gonna make it. Like, because if we don't, I'm still having fun with this.
well, you guys did an amazing job, in my opinion, on this EP, and all the way around, lyrically, instrumentally, the whole composition of it, and now knowing a little more, behind the song, each one, the meaning and inspiration and stuff, it puts it all into more context, and to know that this is your first.
Yeah.
And it only gets better from there.
So Tanner, we never talked about the lyrical meaning behind Another Life. I feel like that's kind of a more important one.
Yeah, people I don't think a lot of people understand that song from what I've heard. Like, it's basically about a car crash, like dying in a car underwater, and it's really dark, and like what your last thoughts would be in that situation.
Yeah, that would. I think drowning and burning alive would be like the two worst, but I think drowning would be worse because it would last longer.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I've actually lost a couple friends from drowning, partying a little too much and cliff diving and stuff like that and doing stupid stuff. And
I don't like the water at all. Like that's a big fear of mine. So I think it was like putting those two feelings together. Like what would I feel if I was going to die, like in that moment, and dying that terribly and having enough time to think about it.
Yeah, and that's drowning would, you definitely have that time to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more scarier of I think it's kind of a scary topic in general, but specifically like Tanner said, like if you were in a car crash and you crashed into the ocean and you had enough time to sink but you couldn't get out, you would have a lot of time to think about stuff and reflect on stuff. But like whereas burning alive, you're not going to be probably thinking about much other than ow, holy crap, this hurts.
Yeah, you would lose consciousness relatively
pretty quickly.
And drowning, it's going to take a while. You'll literally, like in the Mudvayne song, you'll see the light fade away. And yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a horrible way to go.
Definitely.
But how about with this next song? This is the 5th song and last song on your debut EP.
Yes.
Self-titled after, everything else burns. What's behind this song?
So this was the last song I wrote, and I think this was just me throwing everything that I didn't get to say in the other songs. Just this was it. Like everything that I didn't get the chance to say, just throw it in there. And it ended up being, it's a ballad pretty much. It was, I think I took a lot of inspiration from like obviously Paramore and like Neck Deep and just that softer stuff. It's really not a metal song. And I think it was, I don't know, this one might have been the hardest one to write lyrically. It took me the longest.
I can contend to that. Out of all the songs, this was the hardest bass line I've ever had to write or play. Like, I don't know why I struggled with it so much, but I think it was because it was so like different. It wasn't metal.
It's my favorite bass line, I think.
I think it's my personal favorite as well.
And Jordan, what do you got to add on that?
Well, lyrics, like I've listened to that song probably the most out of the album because I I love Tanner's voice. I think he's got a really good voice, and listen to that song. And I'm not really a depressed person, and I still kind of tear up. And I think it's written beautifully, and I think there's a lot of emotion behind each word put into that song. I think Tanner did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hard song. I think, Jordan, you actually helped me record this song.
Yeah. You had me on the keypad, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm turning knobs and pressing buttons. It was a fun though.
It was. And I think it was the last song, like, none of us really got to hear it until it was done.
Yeah.
Especially them. Like, they didn't get to hear it until it was done.
Mm-hmm.
I did, obviously, but...
Yeah, I was waiting. I was really waiting for that one.
Well, with that being said, here we go. This is After Everything Else Burns off of the debut EP from Being Human, After Everything Else Burns.
It's taken a while to figure out that things don't always go our way. I know that I can't just forget you, but I know that I can't make you stay. And I've been living in memories for so long, and I've been counting the days since you've been gone. And I know that we may never be the same, and that's okay. But I hope you know that I'd give anything for one more day. You don't have to be afraid, you'll never be alone. No matter how far you go, I'll always take you home. And after everything else burns away, I'll still be there to help you find your way. And after everything else burns away, you'll always have me. And I reflect on those days without sadness or pain. You'll always have that part of me, and time won't change a thing. I wouldn't trade a second of the life I shared with you. You're the only thing I've ever been afraid to lose. You don't have to be afraid, you'll never be alone. No matter how far you go, I'll always take you home. After everything else burns away, I'll still be there to help you find your way. And after everything else burns away, you'll always have me. We both know that you never needed me like I need you, but no one's ever gonna love you more than I do. It's only been you for so long, and I'll still be here after everything else is gone. And I'd wait for a million years more. You're the only one worth waiting for. You don't have to be afraid, you'll never be alone. No matter how far you go, I'll always love of you. Now till everything else burns away, I'll still be there to help you find your way. Now till everything else burns away, you'll always have
Oh yeah, that's After Everything Else Burns by Being Human off their debut EP, After Everything Else Burns. Gotta tell you, when you truly listen to the lyrics, you know, those are pretty deep. And I give you props on the courage of doing a song like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that was the song. I was like, I recorded the vocals and they weren't even done, but like, I was like, wow, I don't even feel the way I did when I wrote them anymore. And that was the song that I think really, really helped me move forward with my life.
Oh yeah, you definitely
But
you killed it vocally on that one. That one there,
thank you.
you're gonna end up having a bunch of girls that's gonna be they're gonna be
Yeah.
rocking out to that song, and they're gonna, you guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of girls tell me that that's their favorite song. And it's like, yeah, I figured that.
They're gonna be screaming, Tanner, Tanner.
It's very odd to have fans. Like, especially people you don't know. They're just like, I love your music. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
all the time. I don't even know the person. They're messaging me like, "Oh, this song's great, man. I love it." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." This is weird.
Like, I had a kid message me that I haven't talked to since like 9th grade about this record. He was like one of the first people to listen to it. He's like, I love it. It's like, I bought it. I was like, you bought it? Like, he didn't just stream it. He paid for it. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Another thing that's cool about like Twitch is we actually got Austin Dickey and Dickie Allen to react to it. So Dickie Allen is from Infant Annihilator, and Austin Dickey is from For the Likes of You. Two of my favorite vocalists of all time, and just to see them like react to it and say like
They like
how well
it.
written it is and stuff, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, anything else you guys would like to add, let people know about you?
Well, we're working on some new music right now. Probably going to be a little while before it's out. We got some stuff we have to take care of before that. But I think it's going to be our best stuff yet, hopefully. And just wanted to thank everybody who's listened to it and supported us, because it means so much to us.
Yeah, the support is immense. A lot of people just reaching out to us and telling us they love us. It's give us some big courage, keep going and working hard at it.
Yeah,
Hard when you and people just start encouraging you and texting you and messaging you and saying they love it, and it just makes you just want to keep going and just push forward. You know,
absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely that's an awesome ass debut EP. And to know the story behind the making of it and some of the meanings behind the song, you know, I thank you guys for sharing. And like I said, you know, last night, you guys are welcome. Anytime you want to pop in on the show, you know, we'll hook it up. We'll let you guys do a 30-minute takeover. And
Thank you. And thank you for having us here. That means
Yeah.
a lot.
my pleasure. I'm sure it was everybody else's pleasure. A lot of people have been looking forward to this. Some people, you know, they're unable to watch it at the moment, and mostly because they don't do Twitch.
Right. Yeah, that's
they do like YouTube. And Tuesday I will be uploading. I'll be uploading this stream to YouTube. So, you know, you guys feel free to share it and, you know, keep a copy of it for yourself, because this will be something that you guys can sit back and look at one day. And
Yeah.
if you guys keep going forward, you guys will make it. I mean, that's
Thank you.
what my buddy Robbie, he's been in plenty of bands when he was younger, and even he said, you guys rock, and you'll make it if you keep this up. So,
No, that's awesome. We appreciate that.
and he's another one. If he thought you guys sucked or he didn't like a song, he'd been like, that song ain't for me, or hey, you guys suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of my friends that they've heard you guys because I've talked about the interview coming up with you guys, and they was like, I never heard of them, and I was like, nah, they're an up and coming new band. They're out of New York, and I turn around, I pull up my Spotify, and I start playing it, and they're like, hell yeah, shit. He goes, that's their first one, and I was like, yeah, and they did all the recording and everything themselves. They didn't go to some paid studio. These guys, and this was before I knew that your dad had a small home studio.
Yeah.
And before I knew that he did the mastering of it, but that's all.
Well, I mean, I did all of my own system too. It was like I have a separate computer and all that stuff on the other side of the room.
It's like, here, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it on yours and not mine.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you're not touching my stuff.
Yeah, and again, your dad's awesome for helping you guys out. Doing the drum tracks. I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, we Ryan.
So it's definitely big kudos to all of you involved on this project, and we definitely look forward to your next project. And if you guys decide to put out a video for one of these songs, most definitely let us know. We'll do what we can do here to help draw traffic and get people to know who you guys are, because you're independents and you've definitely got a future.
Thank you. Means a lot.
And well, we thank you for allowing us to get to know you guys better.
I've been looking forward to this for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, same.
I've been looking forward to it and was yet a little nervous, but talking to you guys are just down to earth, laid back, chill people, and yeah.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be a little more clinical than you were, it was nice.
Nah, it's
pretty
all
chilling stuff.
I mean, there wouldn't be a point of an interview if you guys hadn't done something that deserves recognition. And for me, I'm never going to try to put anybody in a uncomfortable situation or make them feel pressured or be demanding. And I don't like to surprise people with the subject matter. I like that way they'll know what I'm wanting to ask. I can find out if it's okay to ask these type questions. And I'm not looking to put anybody in an uncomfortable position. I want them to have fun and enjoy it. Life provides enough uncomfortable situations. I'm not looking to add to that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys being here, hanging out.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you everybody for watching.
Yes.
And asking questions. It was really cool.
We love you guys.
Love you.
You guys keep it metal, keep it rocking, and keep producing music, because you guys are going to do good. And like I said, anytime you guys want to drop in, we'll let you guys do a 30-minute, takeover.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Peace.
See ya.
All right, everybody. There you go. That is Being Human. Awesome young up and coming metal band. They definitely have a future, and it was definitely a pleasure interviewing these guys.